Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining me today. I want to speak with you about the recent abrupt cancellation of flights by Kenai Aviation, a regional Alaskan carrier that has served remote communities and now finds itself grounded in crisis. Over several decades, Kenai Aviation carved out a vital role in Alaska's air transport system. It flew scheduled and charter services to destinations like Kenai, Seward, Unalakleet, Homer, and Valdez, linking isolated towns and islands to Anchorage and beyond. Anchorage Daily News. On November 3, 2025, Kenai Aviation announced immediate suspension of all flights. The company said it is financially insolvent, citing a debt burden it could no longer manage. Anchorage Daily News. In communication to the public, owner Joel Caldwell said, "COVID gave us a debt load that we haven't been able to get back on top of. When our plane was grounded for maintenance and not being able to serve Unalakleet this summer not only hurt a community that I love, it hurt us financially too." CH Aviation. From a financial perspective, the pandemic era left Kenai with a lingering liability. Despite full flights on some routes, the debt catch-up never materialized. The bank called in the debt, leaving the carrier with no viable operating path. Mint. For many of the communities served by Kenai Aviation, this shutdown is more than a business story, it is an access story. Scheduled service to places like Unalakleet is not easily substituted, and in some cases the only feasible connection remains via costly charter or circuitous routing. Anchorage Daily News. Let us reflect on some of the key themes behind this cancellation: service, sustainability, vulnerability, and the human dimension. 1. Service and community connectivity. Kenai Aviation's flights were more than commercial operations. They were lifelines for residents of remote Alaskan towns, connecting them to medical care, goods, family, and broader economic opportunity. The loss of service risks isolating communities. 2. Financial sustainability in regional aviation. Running small-scale scheduled routes in remote environments is inherently costly. Factors such as maintenance downtime, weather disruptions, lower seat fill, seasonal demand swings, and fuel price volatility all weigh heavily. Kenai Aviation was operating successfully in many metrics, but critical debt liabilities tipped the balance. CH Aviation. 3. The pandemic's long tail. Though many sectors recovered after the height of COVID-19, the legacy burdens remain. For a small carrier like Kenai, interruptions like grounding for maintenance compounded financial stress and made recovery fragile. 4. Maintenance and reliability pressures. One specific instance, Kenai's King Air aircraft was grounded for maintenance, impacting its Unalakleet service, which both eroded trust and revenue, deepening the financial hole. Anchorage Daily News. 5. Crisis of access and equity. When an airline serving remote or underserved regions collapses, the impact falls hardest on the most vulnerable, residents who rely on service rather than luxury. This raises questions of transportation policy, government support, and community resilience. So what are the implications moving forward? For travelers, if you had reservations with Kenai Aviation, expect cancellations and uncertainty. Refunds, rebookings, and alternative carriers will be volatile. For regional airlines, the case of Kenai is a cautionary tale. Even carriers that appear operational may be vulnerable to hidden debt burdens and external shocks. For policymakers and regulators, there may be a need to examine how essential air service (EAS) routes are supported, how small carriers are supervised, and how financial stress in remote aviation sectors is mitigated. For communities served by such carriers, contingency planning becomes vital, whether charter backup, alternative carriers, or enhanced subsidies. Let us also consider the human side. Owners, pilots, ground crews, mechanics, all are impacted when a carrier shuts down overnight. In Kenai's statement, "I am devastated." The closure is not just a business decision, it is a personal one for many. Anchorage Daily News. There is also a message of persistence. Kenai's owner said, "We need capital, we need partners, we need a lifeline. That investor is out there, we just need to find them." It reflects hope even in crisis, but also the difficulty of rescue in aviation. CH Aviation. In closing, the cancellation of flights by Kenai Aviation is both a business story and a community story. It reminds us that connectivity matters, that regional aviation is fragile, and that behind every route, schedule, and boarding pass lies human livelihood, economic access, and community well-being. As we reflect on this event, let us ask, how do we protect connectivity for remote regions? How do we ensure carriers remain financially and operationally resilient? How do we balance commercial viability with social necessity? Thank you for your attention. May we move forward with both compassion and clarity for the communities, workers and travelers affected by this loss.